we're working with employers to create workplaces that aren't just suitable for women, they're suitable for all humans. Because if you are already telling me that, look, Mel, we need to change our workplace culture because we're hiring a woman, you've got far deeper problems than you think you do.
Welcome to the Find Your Influence podcast. This episode, proudly sponsored by the Guinea Group of Companies, an organisation that helps leaders upgrade their mindset, upskill their leadership, and uplift their teams. If you would like the opportunity to sponsor an episode of our podcast, please reach out to the team at the Guinea Group, theguineagroup.com.au, the team at theguineagroup.com.au. Can't wait to hear from you. And if you would like to be a podcast guest, click on the information sheet that is available on the podcast page.
Life, are you well?
Yes, thank you. Life is great.
You and I have got a very similar degree, but apparently you did some sociology. You studied sociology.
I did. Actually, do you know what? I credit the sociology to really shaping where my career has led. It really challenged the way I thought about things, really challenged concepts and social norms, which is probably why I've ended up doing
Nice.
that. So yeah, at the time I was like, sociology.
In what way? In what way did it challenge your social norm?
Oh, it challenged me in terms of just accepting what things were and actually really considering those options and going, does it have to be that way? No, it doesn't. And how do we, in a really human way, how do we get people to see that? So not go to the academic way, 4,000-page research paper. How, in a very human way, do we have these real conversations and provide these real examples that things don't have to be that way?
I love that. Sparked change and some drive in you to make change and to challenge the norms, challenge social norms, like women in trades.
Like women in trades, like gendered careers in general.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. So gender roles. We try to, we are a nation or probably a society in general, culturally, of, women fit these roles and men fit those roles. And what did you do to change that?
Yeah.
Look, socially.
Got to realise that change is not going to happen overnight. I'm not going to drop a bombshell to you and you're not going to walk away going, whoa, Mel's just changed my whole life. It's incremental. It's about little things that make the difference. Certain things, just language, the way we view things, looking at really, there's a great video that I show. It was actually recorded by TV Denmark, and it's one of the most powerful videos I've seen. And it really does bring a group of people together, puts them in boxes, old, young, those sorts of boxes. And then it actually shows you that once we start looking past those really obvious factors about I'm male, you're female, I'm 50, you're 40, and we'll start asking questions about, who loves to go to the footy, who loves movies, who loves flowers, that all of a sudden these people that thought they were all so different have so much more in common than you thought. And for me, that's how we look at human behaviour. We actually have to demonstrate it. You actually have to uphold it. You have to set those examples. And we have to break it down into really relatable things that people can actually see and feel. If I don't see it and see the value in that, if I can't relate that to my life, I'm not going to be interested. And I think the key for me is realizing you can't change everyone. And I think sometimes we invest so much time trying to change what I would almost call the unchangeable at this point in time. We need to spend our time and money on those, what I call fence sitters. They know that things need to change. They know that maybe things aren't right or we could do better, but I actually don't know how to do that. So sometimes it's really easy for me to show up, use my conformity bias and just go along with the crowd because that's the easiest thing to do. Whereas if someone actually sits with me, has a conversation with me, gives me those tools, those techniques, and connects to why I should sit on and move to the movement, I like to call it, that's where we should be putting our time and effort is in those people. Because it'll be like a tidal wave. The more people we get on the mission, the more people we move to the side of we are all human. It's no longer about men and women, it's about human.
Wow.
The more we're eventually going to capture those people that were like, no, it's gonna happen. So it's
Right.
incremental. It's gonna happen. We're coming for you. We're coming for you.
No one's safe
No one's
in the
safe.
gender conformity bias space.
That's
You
right.
are conformity
Exactly.
bias, and we are coming out. I love that. We're coming at you. That's so cool. And tell me what work you're doing in empowered women and trades that are going to change some of those mindsets. Like, how are you going after that mindset from an EWIT perspective?
Yeah, from an EWIT perspective, it's look. Honestly, I'm going to tell you the first time I got asked to come and do this job, I laughed and said, "Why would I leave my very safe, secure, TAFE job and come to this startup organisation where there's no business plan, there's no idea of what we're doing. It's just I have this great notion, come and make it happen."
Hey,
Um,
Siga.
that was Hacia. Yeah. She
She
pitched
just said,
this idea to
I've
me.
got a vision. I've got a vision.
Correct. Yeah. She's like, I got a vision. And that's why her and I do work so well together because she has visions and she go and I bring them. Yeah, I go, okay, let's take that vision and see what we can do. But we did. Look, honestly, I describe it as being thrown out of a helicopter in the middle of the ocean and get told to find land, right? You want me to change a problem that we've had in this country and the world for centuries, hasn't moved much. It's at 3% and it hasn't moved very far in the last, 10 to 15 years. But all of a sudden you want me to solve this world problem. All right, cool. Let's give this a crack. So first 12 months, say yes to everything. Get every experience possible, go to everything, be everywhere, do everything. That was my mentality. Actually find out what's happening. So don't just listen to the big speak, the rumor. Actually go to these things, talk to people, find out what's truly happening. And from that, we've sort of really shaped into what empowered women in trades is today. And it became very obvious that although it started out about women and our passion will always be women, and it's really important to support the women that are a part of our world, we can't ignore men in the process. We actually need to embrace men at the same time and recognize that there are some great men out there, some incredible role models who do great things. There's a real misconception sometimes, right? There's a misconception that in gendered industries that men are, that it's not a great place to be. And there are some places, but I think all industries have that. There are some good eggs and there are some bad eggs. And we basically went, okay, to really do this, we need to embrace that humanality. We need to really focus on psychological safety, really making sure that people connect to their workplace, connect to each other. And we do a really simple exercise, Anton, and it's one that I find really powerful. It's at the start of any session that we do, we get the group to find a photo on their phone that brings them joy. We don't know each other. Most of the time, these groups are brand new to each other. They'll find the photo and we ask them to share that, tell us about this story. And I can tell you in the hundreds of programs that we've done, there was maybe one person that brought up something that was work related. It's always my family, my hobbies, my holidays, my pets, right? Those are the things that people truly value and hold dear. And I think when you open a session like that to show that a job really is a catalyst for money, and if we're lucky, we enjoy it. But at the end of the day, a job is a catalyst for money. Everybody deserves to be able to come to work, do the job that they do, and go home feeling safe to enjoy the things that they love. Um, and that's what we do now. That's our focus is we look at building the future through our pipeline of school programs and educating the future men and women of the workforce that you could work with absolutely anyone and that's okay. That's not any different. Supporting women who could actively take up roles in those industries that traditionally employ more men and making sure that they have confidence and connection and that we're working with employers to create workplaces that aren't just suitable for women, they're suitable for all humans. Because if you are already telling me that look, Mel, we need to change our workplace culture because we're hiring a woman, you got far deeper problems than you think you do, because that shouldn't be the reason you need to change your workplace.
Wow, that's quite powerful. Suitable, it should be a suitable for workplace for all humans. And for us, we say that we are the industry leading psychological safety trainers. We were doing psych safety not as long as Amy Edmondson, but probably as long as Timothy R. Clark in the last 5 years. We were doing it
Yeah.
when he brought his book out. And so I'm psychology trained, and of course that's really important for us. And I get that. I get how important. Yes, it's legal now, so the employers are obliged anyway.
Yeah.
So they have to do psych safety. But at the end of the day, when we're talking culture change, that's not a legal obligation. That's a moral obligation. And you used the word acceptance before. So we say communicate with acceptance, responsibility, and empathy. And that
Yeah.
acceptance piece is everyone's a little bit different. Everyone's a bit
Yeah.
quirky. We've all probably got ADD or something now, and that's okay. It's just how we accept others. And I think the old organisations struggle with that acceptance. As soon as someone's got a different belief system, and that doesn't conform with their own belief system, all of a sudden we got issues, and then we're going to go da, 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 da.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
then it gets into responsible communication. How do we communicate without aggression, without abruptness, without abuse, and not be 1900s human? But then empathy is, we know what empathy is. How do you change a male-dominated trades team of 5 or 10 or 20 blokes?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we're going to put a female in amongst the mix. What's the influence from you and your
Yeah.
team? How do you change it?
We have a program that we call Thrive that we take in, and we have actually done this in workplaces where they have what I would call lifers. Some of these guys have been in their companies for 40 years. So I affectionately call them lifers. And they think they're coming in because when they hear we're empowered women in trades, they think they're coming in and they know what this is going to be about. This is going to be another one of those, box ticks where they're told about toxic masculine behaviours, how they shouldn't behave behind to a woman, though, and they're pleasantly surprised that that's actually not what it is. What we focus on again is that human element where we look at behavior, poor behavior, no matter who it comes from. There's my line, you cross it, you're addressed, right? Whether you're a man or woman, whether you're my top performer, there's a line, we set that, and it's about human. It's about teaching you how to look out for each other as well, realizing that honestly, no policy or procedure under the sun is going to build culture, and it's not coming from the top down. It has to be the top down, bottom up. It's got to be everyone. The belief system has to be everybody. And really, I don't work with my senior manager day to day. I work with my team, right? I work with my team. So my team, I need to look after their psychological safety. They need to look after mine. And it's about what we like to call being a good human. That's my catch. That is my life motto, is just being a good human. So looking after my team, if I notice that something's wrong, learning how to ask that question. If I see something that's happened, knowing how to check in on someone, but in a way that's comfortable for me. So we look at everybody in that group individually. We do a bit of a strengths assessment. So we can gauge who are we as a person and what are our key strengths, but how do I then use that in my team? Because I might not be the person that sees something and wants to call it out publicly. I might not be the person that's comfortable doing that. I might not be the person who can use humor. Some people can use humor so effectively to cut through some tension or to stop a situation. So we teach them, how do you use your strengths to support each other in the workplace and just be a good human to look out for each other. And that program has been really successful. The feedback from that has just been, you've got us thinking, we don't have that, things don't have to be the way they are. It's not that anything is critically wrong. It's not that anyone, the culture is awful, but it could always be better, and we can always be better. And we always just link it back, Anton, to that exercise about the photos, right? No one is here because work is my life. Work should not be my life. Work should be part of my life. I should enjoy at least 80% of it because I'm going to do it for such a long amount of time. but I should be living to do those things. And if we're not looking after each other in the workplace, that impacts our ability to go home and do the things that we love. And nobody wants that. And linking it back to that photo keeps it human, right? It keeps it human because you've been human from the start, and everything we then talk about, navigating bias, looking at the ladder of influence, looking at groupthink, all of those academic concepts, we can humanize them by that one simple exercise, by bringing it back to what is real and what people are connected to.
Mm. I'm writing all those down. I love the group think one. That there's so many examples of that. Just ask NASA about the Challenger disaster, or the
Absolutely.
scientist, or the line size. It's
Yep.
so easy to conform
It
to a
is.
culture,
It is. I actually
even if we don't agree or believe.
correct. No, correct. And I had so there's a man called Ben Brown, used to play in the AFL, played for a couple of clubs.
Mm.
He gave one of the most powerful presentations I've ever seen, because it was about exactly that in the AFL, that, it is the biggest men's club in the country, the conformity, the expectation that you just do things because, hey, that's the way we do them, even if you like it or not. And he tells his story, and I won't tell that because that's his story, but unbelievable perspective just on that concept of groupthink and conformity. And it was a really powerful reminder that, we, as much as my role is predominantly women in trades, what the work that we're doing will feed into a greater culture problem. It will continue to make people think about other ways they can challenge gender stereotypes. And if you're looking for a guest, highly
That's
recommend
Ben
reaching out
Brown.
to Ben Brown. Unbelievable. Yeah.
I know. Woot. So talking about that, and you've used that word conformity bias. I've never heard that word before.
Yep.
Conformity bias. There's so many biases with our thinking and heuristics for quick decision making, as they say in psychology. I get some of the ways that you've talked about it, but you're probably more changing behaviour a lot of the time when you're changing conformity bias.
Yep.
But to change behaviour, you really need to change a belief system, which is about 46 levels deeper. And
Yep.
that's conditioning and something we've been brought up as cultures. How do you influence belief systems that are not just short-term behaviour change? There's a deeper question for you, Sam. We're into
Yeah, look,
concepts.
that is a really deep question. And to be honest, I, on my own, will not challenge your belief system. We have a
Right.
culture here, we call it our village. We're building a village of people that are changing each other's belief systems and working to support
Wow.
other belief systems. So we have something called the EWIT Alliance, where we've really recognised early on that as a small organisation, we are not going to make that culture shift. We are not going to change people's belief systems on our own, but building a village of people who have the right intent, building that village of people that are changing their behaviours. And I do believe that changing your behaviours starts to support that change in a belief system.
Mm.
If I'm changing my behaviour and I'm making those changes and I'm seeing the positive interactions that come from that, I'm feeling the positive emotions that come from that, I'm seeing the advantages, it does start to change my belief system. And that village is for us what will be the catalyst that will actually change that belief system. So it's not just a behavior to tick a box. It's something that becomes embedded in just, it is what it is, and that is what we do.
Love that. That's beautifully
Yep,
put. Beautifully put. I like the village mentality because it takes a village to raise or to be any successful endeavour. Takes a
absolutely.
village. And if you go back in history, what's the perfect number? The perfect number is still 150 humans. There you go, would you believe?
150
For,
humans.
for a department, for a business, because that's what we had as villages or
Yep.
as groups back in the day. There you go.
Oh,
Fun
I
fact.
love that. There we go. So it's Operation 150. It was Operation 100. We were trying to get 100 businesses. It's now Operation
Yeah.
150.
There you go.
There we go. We'll aim higher.
How you can link that back now. I love the linkages back to
That's it.
to some sort of concept. I love it. Hey, big question, and it's probably going to
Mm.
be Hasium potentially, or maybe I shouldn't preempt it. Who's had the biggest influence on you in your time in life?
In
Maybe?
life, yeah. Well, the obvious ones are my parents.
Oh, mum and
Yep,
dad. Go.
and mum and dad, and in the good and bad, things
Oh,
mum and dad really help shape what I wanna be as a person, but then some of the experiences they went through, I determined I don't wanna do that. I don't want to have to do those things. I don't want to have to check my bank balance every time I go to the supermarket. Like, there were things that I just went, "We lived a certain way, and I don't want that for me or my children." And there's nothing wrong with the way I grew up. It was just more that this was the way they are as humans. Love them. That's what I wanna, emanate. But there were other things that I go, because of my experience, it means I want different. Doesn't make it right or wrong, it's just what I wanted. And the other
geez.
influence is actually a beautiful woman who I lost, earlier this year. Her name was Wendy, and she was a manager that I, originally started working for and was scared of. I was like, "Oh my goodness me, this woman is just the scariest person on
Scary.
the planet." It was like my first real job out of uni. She was so scary, but I grew to love her as a human, and she was my mentor for many, many years because she was tough but fair. She was approachable. She treated everybody the same. She created a culture of that word acceptance, that life happened. It was the first manager that gave me that concept that life happens and that's okay. We can't separate work and life all the time, nor should we have to. Um, yeah, and she was just, I think that word you said it before, the empathy as well was huge. So she just had a really big impact on me. And I just sort of, when through my 5 years of working with her, I started as she was my manager, we finished as equals, and, she was just an incredible woman that I go, "That's if I can take some of that away and I can be that good human and I can make sure that people in my sphere are looked after, they're checked in on, we can still have really, really tough conversations, but I can do those with empathy, I can do those with fairness." And really made me see that you've got to address things in the moment, right? If something's not going right, something's not going well, waiting for someone's performance review, sending them an email at a later stage, it only builds that capacity for psychological safety to be impacted. If I have to have these conversations now, I don't necessarily like it. Confrontation is absolutely one of the worst things in the world to me. But doing that now, having those really real and honest conversations, that's what I took from her, and she's probably definitely, my parents and her are the biggest influences I've had.
R.I.P. Wendy.
Yeah, absolutely.
How sad. And it's funny, I wonder if Wendy, and you probably told her, being a good human, told her how much value she added to your life and that you aspired to be like her, and you're probably grateful. You said to her, in
Yeah,
that, I was speaking to someone today, our ex-minister, local member of parliament, and he said he had someone like that he took on a journey, and this particular young person didn't know what she was going to do with her life, and all of a sudden she started studying law and has gone on to big things, and
yeah,
he's really proud of that impact, and
yep,
it was nice to hear that Wendy had such a big impact on you. And I always ask that question, and everyone answers with my parents, but
yeah.
it's nice when you've got someone like that where you go, that's who I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah, 100%, and you hit the nail on the head. I always say the greatest legacy that I can leave is impact. Doesn't matter how much money I've got in the bank or what I leave my kids, the biggest legacy I can have on the world is the impact that I've left.
Love it. Legacy, and what legacy is changing beliefs and behavior.
Correct.
Or even
Correct.
maybe not changing, maybe improving, maybe influencing. The
Influencing.
ways.
Yeah. Influencing.
So
Just leaving everyone. Just be a good human. It's that
leave,
simple.
and finish this sentence off for me. Leaving people better than you found them. That's our
Yeah.
key saying. That's our mission.
Yeah.
That's our mission at TGG. Leave people better than you found them. So make an effort. Make it show up with energy, show up with empathy, show
Yep.
up with care factor.
Yeah.
And influence is defined as the capacity to change,
Yeah.
the character, the behaviour, or the development of another human.
Yep.
That's influence.
That's
To help someone
influence.
grow.
Yeah. And that's what we do every day around here. Every day. Our
Absolutely.
EWIT word is impact. Everything we do, if
Impact.
it's not going to create impact, we don't do it.
But when you got that, like that true north, one word that just is your vision, it's your
Yeah.
mission, it's the true north.
Yeah.
Love it, Melinda Davis. Love it, team. You've got Melinda Davis today, CEO of Empowering Women in Trades. As a tradesperson, I was lucky enough I can still see the big factory that I did my apprenticeship at out the window, and I've got a really soft spot for it. I was one of the first years where we had female apprentices, and I was the last year where we didn't. But by the time I'd finished, we had female apprentices in the next 3 years behind me. So for me, it was normal. And that was in 1991.
Well
So
done.
shout out to QAL, and they've still got amazing amount of females in their organisations. And so to me, sometimes these conversations are like, I get it. It still goes on that we've still got to change norms. But at the same time, it's like, there's some great role model organisations out there.
There
And
absolutely
they're
are.
case studies.
100%. And QAL, did you say?
Yeah, QAL, Queensland Women
QAL?
Limited.
Valued EWIT Alliance member. So they're already a part of our village.
Stop it.
Yeah, absolutely. We do a lot of work with QAL. We've got some great plans, and we really valued Alliance member.
Thank you for that shout out. That's
of course.
That's so cool to hear. I can see them from here. If ever you're up, if you ever want a view, come and see us. Next time you're up for training, if you're a see you come up, and we'll do something together. We'll work out how we can do a leadership program, and we'll take
amazing.
I'll connect you to some of the local trades businesses if you'd like, and we'll go and have a bit of fun in town.
Let's do it. I'm actually having a chat to them next week about putting in an application for some funding together to bring us up into town to do a few different projects, through those key pillars that I spoke about. So 100%.
All right.
We love them. We couldn't love them. They are such an amazing organisation. So we're so thrilled to have them as part of our village.
Thank you. And thanks for a great shout out to them. Hey, talking about, so Wendy was the person that influenced you. Who are you most proud of? Like, who have you left that legacy on, left that impact on?
To be honest, it's a bit of a personal one, but mine would be my husband, actually.
Stop it. Go home.
No, look, I met my husband, and I'm not kidding. This was in the speech at our wedding. I'm a bit of an action-orientated person, and my husband's probably not so action-orientated. Probably likes, I'm a leader, he's more of a follower, right? Doesn't need to make those decisions. And that's great because he's really brought me down a few pegs and supported the way I think and feel also. But it was in the speech at our wedding that I'd had enough of his inaction, and I went and enrolled him into a certificate in accounting because he has a great mathematical brain, and essentially handed him the enrolment forms and said, "Sweetheart, you turn up there on Monday or we're done. We're done." And we're now married. Well, we've been married for 15 years. We've got 2 kids. He's now a chartered accountant, and he's been working as an accountant. So that's pretty blunt impact in my mind. That's not necessarily what I would do to everyone, but that's blunt impact. And I don't know. For me, our whole that impact really has shaped our family. Him and I became a team in that moment. It was, when you're not able to do what you need to do, I'm here to make. He knew that that's what he needed to do, but just couldn't pull the trigger. So we became a team. We had children. They're now members of our team. All life decisions that we make as a team. And I think that's a really important culture to be leaving my children as well, is that you don't have to do anything on your own. It is, just because we're the parents, yes, we have those role models. Yes, we have to make decisions you're not always happy with, but there's no reason why we can't involve you at an age-appropriate level and make sure that they feel confident in their lives making those decisions and understanding sometimes why decisions have to be the way that they are. That's it. Go turn up on Monday, babe, or we're done. That's as simple as it was. That's the impact right there.
The love of a good woman, changing, talk about changing behaviour.
Correct.
And the beliefs.
Yeah, correct.
The consequence was going to be pretty significant if hubby didn't turn up.
It would have been. It would have been.
Love it.
Yes.
Thanks,
No,
for,
but
thanks for sharing such a great story.
no.
We're 31 years married. I never really had an ultimatum like that, which is probably a positive. We're the other way. I'm probably the nutcase. Or sorry, I shouldn't say that. That was really derogatory. I'm the visionary. I'm out there.
Yep.
I'm. What did Debbie say? My VA's or BA business manager said, can't sit still, just too many ideas, brain going at all the time. And I'm just,
Yep.
and my wife's like the,
Yep.
let's pull it down a peg champion. Like,
That is my husband to me. Correct. He grounds me. And when I feel, you're standing there in the kitchen some days going, there's 80,000 things in my mind and I can't calm it down. He'll just come and he'll put his arms around me and all of a sudden that just, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
oh,
that.
how beautiful. The oxytocin moment
Correct.
when we share a bit of love and we just trust that the other person is there for us and that's all we need. Oh, stop it. How beautiful.
It's a bit soppy. It's a bit soppier than I normally am. My team's going to be like, what was wrong with you today? You were really soppy, Mel. But it's human. It's human. This is who we are. We have feelings. We have thoughts, right? That's okay.
Well, we are big bags of skin carrying emotions around. That's who we are.
Yeah,
what would we be without how we feel? I say to males particularly all the time, the number one thing you can do to be more psychologically safe is start talking in emotions, not soppy. I feel. Someone asked me today, what's the wheel that I've got in our office? So I've got a coaching room. It's the emotions. It's the color of the emotions. Emotion wheel, you'd be familiar with it. It's so good. How are you feeling today? And then they'll give me one. Oh, happy. All right, cool. Let's go out one.
Yeah.
Why? Well, I'm content. Okay, cool. Why? Because, I'm comfortable. Right, cool, great. And when you can start talking about what's going on inside, I think it demonstrates vulnerability. It just shows that you're a more competent human in my mind, because I think emotional intelligence is a skill and it's a competence.
Yes,
And we're
certainly
not
is.
talking emotions.
No, it certainly is. Emotions are very healthy. They're very normal. And we see lots of different ones. And, that's, for me, is that trigger sometimes when I'm not seeing emotion. I'm like, how can you're going through all of these things and you turn up and you go, no, I'm fine. Are you fine? Because that worries me more than if you told me there was 80,000 things wrong. Like, and you're right, as humans, it does come back to what Wendy taught me is that life will happen. And I honestly remember, Anton, at uni, in one of my, there was a theory and it was called the thinking hats. And it was literally this but it was literally this notion that I can just switch my hats and go, oh, I don't want to think about this anymore. I'm going to move to think about this, or I'm going to leave my hat at the door. And I think about men in construction particularly, and that notion that you had to leave work at work. So when I came home, I had to just leave it at work. And then I couldn't bring what was happening at home to work. So we might have been going through hell at home, but I couldn't talk about that at work. And we wonder why now we've got the mental health rates in construction that we do, when you've literally had to box yourself in and suppress that emotion. And I was talking on a panel about mental health the other day, and someone keeps asking me about resilience. Can't deal with that word, resilience. Can't deal with it. Let's not. We're teaching resilience. Being resilient, it hides our emotion. Oh no, you should be more resilient. So don't talk about that. You should be more resilient, when we should be encouraging people that you don't need to be resilient. You can have things going on and we can look at strategies to support that, but you don't necessarily need to be resilient. That post-COVID word, I think it's not healthy. Resilience post-COVID has been a real talking point. But for us, that word resilience is overused. Being resilient is what you said before. It's like, I'm in a triathlon. I'm great at two legs, not so great on the bike. So I'm going to have some resilience and I'm going to get myself through that. But resilience around mental health, resilience around the fact that, I have a terminally ill mum, or my wife's given birth to a baby and they're not doing so well. That's not stuff to have resilience around. That's stuff to go, you know what, this is life. It's happening. And I actually need some support now. I actually have to talk about these things. We need some support.
Talk about the boom events of life. And this is where, do you know, this is the sad part about resilience, Melinda, is that resilience is actually not well understood. When you're going through a boom event in life, you're not being resilient, you're coping.
Yeah.
People say, oh, I'm being resilient. No, you're not. You're just getting through this. You're just surviving. You're surviving for as long as your mum stays alive if you're a carer, for as long as you're in hospital after an injury, for nearly killed at work, electrician, not long after I left QAL. You know, a power station blows up.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get through that, because I was on site when that happened. That was scary. But they're boom events. They're not times when you're resilient. This is when you build resilience.
Yeah.
Before, so you got a strong vision to help you get through those, or after, where you go, what happened and how do I learn from that? So
Yeah.
that if that ever happens again, I'm better prepared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Love
Like
that. I love that term, boom event. I've not heard that one before. Love it.
You can use that.
Can I steal it? Yeah.
Oh, no, we're not stealing. We're doing R&D, rebadge and distribute.
Excellent. Love it.
That's yours. Look, boom events are a big deal. We always talk about, you know, have you had a life boom event? And if you have, how are you going to reframe that? But at the time, you never ask that question when you're in here. Are you through it yet?
Correct.
If you're not through it, you haven't had a learning. You can't even think straight in here.
No, you
just got to let people focus on survival.
Yeah.
Melinda Davis, you are an absolute champion. Can I ask you two very, 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 very fast questions? One you've answered already. Thank you. Leadership mantra, like you've probably given it to me already. What's the goal? What's the mission on the planet? To lead people better than you found them?
Absolutely. Let them all be good humans. Just be a good human.
And then have an impact so that you can help them be a good human.
Correct.
Love it. And Ben Brown, so the very last question, who should we have on?
I'm dogging in you, Ben Brown. You are amazing and you should be on this podcast.
Oh, thank you. Give him a big rap. Tell him how amazing he is. Thank you.
Amazing.
Davis, you're amazing. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, and we'll let you know when the podcast is live.
Perfect. Thanks Anton. Have a good afternoon. See ya.
Thanks for listening. We just had an amazing guest on to another amazing podcast of Find Your Influence. My name's Anton Guinea, and for 20 years I have been sitting, working with, training, coaching and consulting leaders at all levels of organisations. I've coached Gen Z leaders right through to baby boomer leaders. I've done 1,500 one-on-one leadership coaching sessions. My mission on this planet is to help leaders create high-performing and psychologically safe teams. If you want to upgrade your leadership, upskill your teams, or upskill your leadership, please reach out. You can get me at anton@theguineagroup.com.au. Please tune into our next episode. These podcast chats are amazing. The value and the information that you get will help you be more influential and help you be a better leader.